a little.
Whoa.
All right, so in today's video, we're gonna cover the basics of the patient experience. What happens when someone comes to get adjusted? Why do people get adjusted? Why do people continue to get adjusted? So we're gonna try to cover a couple different things in this video. So here we have our patient today. Hello, thank you for coming in. So how do we know if someone needs a chiropractic adjustment? Well, there's a couple ways to know. Certainly, you probably are aware that chiropractic is recommended for things like back pain, neck pain, headaches, carpal tunnel, sciatica, migraines, and other problems. So patients will come in if they're suffering with those things. Sometimes they come in right to a chiropractor. Sometimes they have been to other healthcare providers and haven't gotten the relief they're looking for, and they end up in my office. So you can look at chiropractic from kind of a symptom standpoint, but increasingly we're seeing people come in who are looking to optimize their health. So maybe they don't have a lot of back pain or neck pain or stiffness or arthritis, but they're coming in because they've seen chiropractic videos, they've got friends that go to a chiropractor, they know that chiropractic can be beneficial for athletes in terms of performance, in terms of injury prevention. So we're kind of a mix of different people that will come in. And when someone actually does land in the office, we do tests to determine where they need to be adjusted. So we're gonna look at that right now. So some of the tests we'll look at with a new person, we will check posture. We will often check ranges of motion of their spine or maybe shoulders or hips or other joints in the body. We also x-ray, we have x-ray at the office, and we use that where indicated. X-ray is really good because it tells us a lot about the alignment of the spine and if a person has degeneration in their discs or joints, which can very much relate to their condition and how they're going to progress and how we're going to care for them with chiropractic care. So just to show you with our patient here today, we're going to check one of the very common things we look at, which is the range of motion of the person's neck or cervical spine. So I'm going to have our patient, Lynn, can you look straight to start? I'm going to have you look up to the ceiling. Okay, can you go a little further? Good. And you look down to the floor and look straight. Okay. When you did those motions, did you feel any discomfort?
I felt tightness
when you're looking back. Continuing on with checking our patient's range of motion, we're going to have them, let's have you turn your head to the right and to the left. Okay. Now it's a little bit difficult for me to see with her hair, but it looks like she doesn't go quite as far turning to the right. Did you feel any discomfort when you force your neck over this way?
I do feel tightness.
On the left side. So that's the tight muscles on the left side, which could indicate a joint problem on the left side. I'm going to continue here. What if you put your right ear to your right shoulder? Good. And left ear to left shoulder? Which way is easier?
They're about the same.
Okay. When I examine here, she doesn't go quite as far to the right. So again, that would line up with tight muscles on the left side. Now, neck range of motion, you might say, well, who cares? The person can't side bend their neck. Maybe they side bend their neck 25% less on one side than the other. Well, that can become a really big deal if we leave her this way. Because as she continues to go through life, she's lost this range of motion. We know that one of the main things that causes joints to deteriorate, doesn't matter if it's a spinal joint or a knee joint, is loss of proper range of motion. That's why you need to move your joints every day through their range of motion. So if we have our patient losing range of motion on one side, joints are going to get irritated, inflamed. Eventually that can lead to arthritis. Loss of range of motion totally affects the activities we do every day. So driving a car, to do a shoulder check. I know people have their cameras in their cars. Now we have our backup cameras, side indicators, but we still need to be able to turn our head properly to drive a car. To do other activities, workout, golf, even, sit and watch a movie or TV comfortably, you need to have proper neck range of motion. So that's one of the things we do when someone's new. We come in and we assess that. And you'd be surprised because you might think, okay, you might find more problems with this in older patients, patients over 50, 60, 70. But I'm seeing a lot of younger people who have already developed spine problems and losing range of motion of their neck or their low back. Teenagers, people in their 20s. Why do you think that is? I'll give you a second. Because we're on more devices. People are sitting more, gaming more, on their phones, on their computers. Some people are working from home, studying from home. They're moving less. And their spine is affected. And that basically means that they may develop problems sooner or younger. So we don't want that. So our spine is made up of 24 segments, 24 vertebrae. And each of these vertebrae have to be able to move properly. I'm going to demonstrate that with my hands. So let's pretend these are two vertebrae. Okay, and this is the front side of your body. The spine needs to be able to bend forward. That's called flexion, bend backward, extension, rotate, and side bend between each segments for there to be normal health and movement. There also is a little bit of joint play in the spine where the spinal segments can separate a bit. And that's actually, if we lose that and the spine becomes compressed, you can feel that. And that's oftentimes where things like a Y strap or a distraction type adjustment can be very helpful. So just looking at the rest of the range of motion, let's have you turn your head to the right and then turn to the left. Okay, she has pretty good rotation on each side. You didn't feel any discomfort with that, did you?
No.
Okay. And you're going to side bend, so bring your ear to your right shoulder and bring your ear to your left shoulder. Okay. So when she does side bending or lateral flexion, she actually goes further to the left than to the right. Now, when you go to this side, do you feel anything on this side? Tight muscle?
No tightness
Okay.
here.
Yeah. And do you feel any pinching on this side, the right side?
Not as much.
Not really. Okay. So the tightness on the left side may indicate that the joints on the left side are irritated and consequently the muscles over top, the levator scapula, the trapezius are tight, and that's limiting her motion bending to the right side. So those are all pieces of information that I'm going to use as her chiropractor in order to correct this. And for that matter, every joint in the body to maintain its normal and full range of motion. We know that one of the biggest reasons that joints degenerate or become arthritic is loss of range of motion. So that's one of the really great benefits of chiropractic is maintaining the health of your joints. And you, even if you're not seeing a chiropractor, you should be moving all of your joints through their range of motion every day to keep them healthy. So now, just checking our patient's range of motion, that doesn't necessarily tell me as a doctor where she's going to need to be adjusted. So now I'm going to show you how we figure that out. So what I'm doing now is called palpation, which basically involves feeling how each vertebra in the spine is moving. And there's two things we're looking for here. We're looking for areas that are stiff or blockages. That may be known as a subluxation. And so the patient, I'm going to be able to feel where her spine isn't moving. She's going to be able to feel it too. For instance, when I press there, what do you feel?
I feel kind of like a sharp tightness.
So a little bit of discomfort.
A little bit. Yeah.
Sensitivity. So sensitivity to touch, which is known as allodynia for the researchers out there, that means that those spinal joints are irritated. And that's often where the research tells us is where that person needs to be adjusted. And a lot of times what I'll do with patients is I'll press on the joints that aren't moving well and they'll say, it's tender, right? And if I go to one that is moving better, like this one, not as tender, correct?
Yeah.
So that's how we know which segment to adjust. We don't want to move every bone in someone's spine. We just want to be working on the ones that are not moving properly and that are irritated. That's where we apply our chiropractic adjustment for maximum benefit. So when people come in, we don't just check their neck, we check their entire spine. Often we will check things like shoulders and hips and ankles and find out where in the kinetic chain there may be problems with movement. And one of the things that really makes chiropractic unique is the reason we're moving any bones or joints is to access the nerve system. So the nerve system, which is our brain and spinal cord, our nerve system controls everything in our body. And it's a feedback system. So in other words, the joints of our patient's spine are through the nerve system sending information to her brain, and her brain takes that information and uses it in order to properly control, for instance, the muscles around those joints. So when an area of the spine stiffens and doesn't move anymore, the brain no longer receives information from that area. It's like a blind spot. And that is basically a recipe for things like pain and injury. Your brain can't control you if it doesn't know what's going on. So that's another huge advantage that athletes have with chiropractic care, is that when they get adjusted, their brain can properly control their body for maximum performance. So as I continue to check the patient's spine, again, checking for tender and tight areas. So I think that's one right there. What do you feel there? Tightness. So what I'm feeling just to the left, and this is around the T4-5 segment, just to the left here is where one of the fourth rib inserts and forms a joint with the spine. It's a super common area that people have problems. They will come in complaining of knots between their shoulder blades, tight muscles, pain when you take a deep breath. Very, very common. These are subluxations involving the rib attachments to the spine. And when we adjust those areas, they can be relieved of the pain, their breathing can be returned to normal. Very powerful option we have to correct problems that are super common. In this area, they can happen from sitting at a desk, from activities where you might reach and grab, like weightlifting, or sometimes people's work environment. The spine in the mid and upper back and the ribs have to move properly for us to be able to breathe fully, for us to be able to take in oxygen properly. So critical area that we don't want to stiffen as we age and lose our vital oxygen carrying capacity. As we continue checking our patient's spine into the low back or the lumbar spine, and again, I would have checked range of motion of this area as well and done some other tests, but feeling for stiffness and movement, checking the sacroiliac joints, which are very common areas where people will get low back pain. Sometimes it can radiate into the leg. And so I checked the right sacroiliac joint, and it has some pretty good springiness to it, which is healthy. The left side, however, feels more stiff. I'm going to ask our patient, what do you feel there? A little bit of discomfort. And sometimes when this joint gets irritated, we'll get tight muscles in this area, the gluteals, the piriformis. Tight hips are not good, especially for people that run or sprint or play sports. So really important that we have the hips and the SI joints healthy and moving properly for optimal hip performance. If I press here, is that a little bit tender as well?
Not so much.
Okay. All right, so now that I've determined which areas of my patient's spine need to be adjusted, I'm going to go ahead and show you that. I want to mention that what people do outside of the office is really important too. So once I do the adjustments to unlock the subluxation, get the spine moving, I want to make sure my patients are doing things like moving those joints, again, through the range of motion. So I'll give them specific exercises in order to help them do that. Also, we're going to want them to work on posture. You know, we don't want people sitting 12 hours a day at a desk. We want people getting up and moving. And for a lot of people, one of the things that will end up causing problems in the nerve system, which translate to tight muscles, which lock down the spine, is, you guessed it, stress. So I will talk to my patients, and most chiropractors definitely do this as well, about stress. We all have stress, but sometimes little tips can help us decrease the effects of it. Things like meditation, deep breathing, getting outside in nature, things that are going to have a really great benefit as we practice them over time to help diminish negative impacts on our nervous system and allow us to get the most out of our health and most out of the chiropractic care that we're doing for them. All right. I know you're waiting to see this adjustment, but I want to say something that's really important. People sometimes equate the length of the chiropractic visit with the effectiveness. And I have to tell you that once we've done the adjustment, we've pretty much done all we can do for that patient. One of the most important things you can do if you're seeing a chiropractor is to go often enough to allow your nervous system and your soft tissues and your joints to change. So that means you need to go with repetition, 2 or 3 times a week in some cases, 2 to 3 months. Now that's not necessarily that every person sees a chiropractor needs to go 2 or 3 times a week, but often when people are coming in with the stuff that you guys have, chronic back pain, chronic neck pain, chronic headaches, your nervous system's not going to change after one visit. So go repeatedly, go often enough, give your body time to change, and we can get a really nice result. So here we go. I mentioned that often in patients, I'm going to check their feet. That can involve toes, first metatarsal, subtalar, ankle joint. All of these joints have to be moving properly for the foot and ankle and really rest of the body to be able to work correctly with things like walking and running. So in our patient here, we're adjusting the first metatarsal. Good. Take a little breath in, let it out. So working our way back up to the neck. So we have the C2, 3 segments that aren't moving well. So again, that's how I know where to adjust. We're going to move the ones that are tender and that aren't moving well. We're not just indiscriminately cracking the neck. So here we go. Drop your left ear, chin up a bit. Okay, just relax. Nice. Chin up a little.
Whoa.
So just to wrap it up, once we've examined our patient and we've gone over the tests we've done and the x-rays, we come up with a treatment or care plan. So again, that's going to be a series of visits over time, giving our patients some exercises to do at home, and it's going to outline the goals or what that we expect them to be able to reach in so many visits or so many months in terms of improvements in their back or their neck or their headaches or their strength or their capacity. We do periodic re-examinations to make sure our patients are progressing properly. And then this shouldn't really be a surprise, but we recommend that patients do some type of maintenance or wellness care. So once they've done their 3 times or twice or once a week, they're still going to be living their life. They're still going to be sitting. They're still going to be having stress. They're still going to be working out. So if they continue to be adjusted, a lot of times every 2 weeks is a common recommendation. We can keep their spine healthy. We're going to obviously ask them to keep doing their exercises as well. And in that way, chiropractic can help people stay young, prevent deterioration, and basically get the most out of their health and their body and their life. All right, so if you enjoyed this video, be sure to like and subscribe. We have more great content coming your way. And if you want to come to see me, find out how to get a hold of me in the links below, and even come to my office and have the Dr. Pete Chiropractic experience. Thanks for watching. We'll see you in the next video.